Hello everyone, welcome back. First game for Conte, first win, much needed, chaos, all sorts to talk about. So welcome back to the channels, guys. Speaking Spurs here, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham, and we've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? So we get the victory last night, 3-2. I'm going to talk you through bits and bobs that happened throughout the night. So let's just jump right into it. So ahead of kickoff, there was a nod to the past. Toby Alderweireld was finally given his send-off by the supporters as the club's special guest for the evening. Quite often we have guests come out at half-time. If you haven't been to the stadium before or a Tottenham game, usually a club legend of some kind, or if there's a good cause that we're supporting, we'll have somebody come out from one of those charities, etc. But it was that man, Toby Alderweireld. Obviously, he's left and gone on to pastures new, so he's joined the Qatari outfit Al Duhail in the summer. But with Conte at the helm, it makes you wonder, is he somebody that we could have done with? Do you think he'd have tried to keep Alderweireld around? I'm sure Alderweireld would have been happy to stay to work under another one of the elite managers of modern day football. So yes, Antonio Conte's tenure begins with a wild 3-2 win over Vitesse in the Europa Conference League. Look, we come firing out the blocks. We raced into a 3-0 lead. Goals through Sonny, Mora, and then an own goal from Rasmussen. But Vitesse retaliated before half-time themselves, scoring 2 goals. Rasmussen trying to make up for his own goal, and Barrow capitalising on some poor defending. Initially, Lucas Moura losing the ball, and then Romero never really tracking his man into the box. The first goal, it's hard. I haven't really slowed it down as much as I want to watch it back, but it looked to me like the player that Dyer was originally marking goes down in the box. That puts Dyer off balance as he's then trying to cover Rasmussen coming through for the header. So Dyer doesn't actually manage to jump upwards. So it's one of them where, yeah, it's a bit of poor defending, and once again conceding from a set piece, something that happens time and time again with Spurs, and it's been that way for many a year now. I'm never confident when balls are flown into the box, whether it be a corner or a free kick, or even crosses for that matter. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. You'll have to let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think that Dyer was completely at fault? Do you think he was off balance from what had happened just previously with the Vitesse player that ended up on the floor? But needless to say, we conceded 2 goals that we didn't need to concede. It was manageable, and we just let ourselves slip before half-time. Then actually in the second half, we come out, and you'd expect Conte might have torn him a new one in there, just to get them G'd up, because we had stepped off the gas a bit, and I think that comes down to going 3-0 up. We weren't pushing the way we should. Like, for me, it's if you're 3-0 up, yes, you've got to respect the opponent to a certain extent, but what you were doing was working, so just keep doing it. Don't change a thing. Like, push yourselves till half-time. You've got time to recover. That's what half-time's for. It's your recovery time to reset, talk tactics, make any subs you need to. So just carry on doing what you're doing. But we didn't. Well, I say keep doing what you're doing. What we did was concede 2 goals. So we did keep doing what we were doing, I suppose. We carried on in poor vein. But yeah, there were 3 sendings off in the game. One from one of our players, Christian Romero, for 2 yellow cards. The second one, the second yellow card that he actually got sent off for, it was a bit of a weird one. He was never getting the ball, and then almost wrapped himself around the player and took him down with him. And it was quite comical because he obviously had to go off for treatment because he'd taken a boot to this area and was struggling with something off at the sidelines, expecting to be called back on. He didn't even realise that he'd been sent off at all. So that was quite comical. And then Vitesse had their captain, Danilo Doki, if that's how you pronounce it. He was shown 2 yellow cards, and then goalkeeper Marcus Schubert received a straight red for handling Emerson Royale's effort from outside the box. That one seemed a bit controversial at the time on the pitch. The referee made his mind up almost immediately, Royale's reaction was very quick. The fans' reaction, I think that influenced it. Didn't really show us enough proper angles to see whether it was fully handball, whether it was shoulder, whatnot. Let me know below. Do you think that was definitely a sending off? But that levelled the game back up. The first sending off. The second one put us in the ascendancy again. But by that time, we were just trying to control the game and see it out. We never really pushed for another goal when we went a man to the good. And I think that's the sensible thing. It showed some game management, something we've definitely been lacking. Now, I don't know if that we can really say that was Conte's influence. He's obviously only had 2 training sessions with them. One he didn't actually take at all. He was just a spectator. He allowed the coaching team, which includes Ryan Mason, allowed them to run that. But yeah, there was some good game management. I actually thought credit to the defence in the end, who were not great at all to start with, but towards the end of the game they had to grind it out, especially when we spent a period of time a man down. I thought Dyer handled the defence really well in that sense. So let's talk about the players. So we lined up in what looked like, Antonio Conte is notorious for his 3-5-2, 3-4-3s, and it looked at times like we were a 3-4-3, but out of possession it looked like we slotted into the 3-5-2. And that was all down to that man Lucas Moura, who had bags of energy. So at times he was very out wide on the wing and quite deep when Royale wasn't emerging forward with the ball, and that's when he became a part of the midfield. But there were a lot of times when he actually floated inside to be a number 10, but he was all we know he loves to drift inside with the ball, and I think his best position is a number 10. But there were a lot of time where he was up top, out wide. It was almost like he was given a free role, but with defensive instructions. I thought he was excellent in periods of the game, Lucas Moura. So Lloris in goal. The defence was made up of Romero, Dyer and Davies. Davies finally playing as a left-sided centre-back, which we've been told by Chris Coleman for years is without a doubt his best position, and I completely agree. Obviously he wasn't at his best. It's a new formation. I think over a period of time he could be good there. I actually think we've probably missed his best days where he could have played in a back 3. And what I will say in this formation, obviously there was the new manager effect. The crowd were very loud and behind the new manager and the team for the evening, so that had something to do with the fact that we come flying out the blocks. But I actually felt like we were more in control of the game in a positive way with our attackers involved as well. So in the last few games we've been in control, but only in the midfield. It hasn't really gone anywhere else. Whereas this game, I felt like we were in control as a team. Now, with these formations that he's going to want to play, the most important thing is distances from one another. Defence, midfield, attack. Distances are so key to success in these formations. And it noticed at times, especially when we lost the ball, there were times where Royale had gone too far forward and just couldn't get all the way back. But that's the luxury of having the 3 centre-backs. So if they go forward, the full-backs, and they get caught out, you've got 3 men there instead of 2. And what you would expect is one of your defensive midfielders, either Skip or Hotspur, should naturally drop in to help make that a back 4. And that's how I would want it to operate. But yeah, so Lloris in goal, defence of Romero, Dyer and Davies. And then we had Emerson Royale and Sergio Reguilon as the fullbacks, Hotspur and Skip next to each other in the centre, with Lucas Moura, Sonny and Kane further forward, making a front three, a front 3 / sometimes a front 2, depending on where Lucas Moura was on the pitch. So if we talk about their individual performances, and man of the match was a bit of a difficult one. Different sites and newspapers and even the fans themselves will give you different things. So I think on the fan vote with Tottenham's official website, it was given to Emerson Royale. Hugo Lloris got the plaudits with, I think, Sky and some of the other papers. I think maybe even the Daily Mail or something like that. And there was a couple of others in there that could have. I think Sonny got it from someone, but I don't actually think he should have had it. But let's talk about it. So Hugo Lloris was well beaten for both of the goals that went in. Don't feel like there was much he could have done about them, if I'm honest. However, he did make some spectacular flying saves. He denied Tronstad, substitute Pender, and Bazoa. He made some great saves, Lloris. I remember one of them from the shot that was on the edge of the box. That might have been the one from Bazoa. Great strike, bent round. Lloris, very acrobatic across. It was a great save. Kept us in the game at times. Romero. So Lloris for me got an 8 out of 10. Romero, unfortunately, he does play with an aggressive style of football, and that really cost us at the time. 2 reckless challenges, completely unneeded. His ultra aggressive style, it cost the team there. It's been coming as well. It has been coming. Like Tanganga, we always saw that he was going to end up getting a red card at some point. That's what's happened with Romero. Hopefully this will soften him a little bit. I don't want him to go ultra soft. I like his aggression, but there's a time and a place, and he was too high up the pitch to even need to do that, if I'm honest. Eric Dyer, beaten to the ball for Vitesse's first goal. But again, it's a new system, a back 3. It's very difficult to just come into a game and play it with not a lot of preparation, because who takes responsibility for which man in certain instances? This one was from a set piece, so it's fairly straightforward. You're marking the man that's there. But throughout the first half, I feel like it was a learning curve for them. Once Romero got sent off, obviously we went to a back 4, which Dyer's more comfortable with, and that was evident in the way he was playing. He was much better after that. But he did deserve credit for the way he held the defence firm after the red card. Ben Davies possibly could have given away a penalty. Dyer was a 6, out of 10. Davies a 6 as well. Could have given away a penalty. Luckily, there was no VAR for when he tripped Bazoa just inside the 18-yard box. And for somebody that was meant to be playing as a left-sided centre-back, he was very adventurous. In fact, he got more forward as a centre-back than I've seen him do at left wing-back in some of the games, or left-back. He was up there, and, he's... his scuffed shot ended up leading to the Harry Kane goal. He was actually the furthest player forward in the build-up to that third goal, which is crazy. He shouldn't have been there at all. But it was nice to see him back in the side, playing in a position that he's more suited to, I would say. Emerson Royale, it was hard. I wanted to give him an 8, but I couldn't because of his sloppy tracking for their goal from the Lucas Moura possession loss. Look, he looked happier as a wing-back. That's the happiest I've seen him look, and this could help Matt Doherty as well, playing in these formations. Look, he looked much happier there. He got into dangerous positions and areas time and time again, including for Schubert's red card. I wonder if he's going to be able to keep up with the pace of some of the wingers in the Premier League, if he's going to be venturing that far forward. He's reasonably quick, but he's not lightning. But I thought he defended fairly well at times, other than when he lost his man. He got forward, he was involved in a lot, very comfortable on the ball. I was impressed with the change of position, but it is a change of formation, so the link-up play with some of the other players wasn't as good as it could be, but that will come with time. They need to work on it. Højbjerg also got a 7, involved in the build-up to the first goal with a fine piece of play, solid in the middle of the park once again. However, his more adventurous range of passing, let's say, wasn't quite there for this game. Oliver Skipp next to him, also a 7. Looks more confident on the ball in this game, and I think, you're closer to the defence because there's the 3 of you. You've got the outlets out wide when the fullbacks are right next to you, so he's got people closer to pass to. Doesn't have to take as many risks, but he's quite happy to play it into the feet of players further forward. He had some nice moments in the first half. Will he keep both of them in there? Conte in the future, I don't know. I think one of them will come out for a more creative midfielder once we get a bit of balance in this formation. But until we've learnt the formation a bit better, I think he might stick by both of them in there until the fullbacks and centre-backs are fully confident. But another good performance from Skippy. He's becoming quite reliable. Sergio Reguilon on the other side of the midfield/defence, however you want to look at it. Look, he had freedom that he's needed for a long time. This is the player that we wanted to sign. We wanted a free, creative fullback that doesn't have to do too much defensive dog work. He's got the pace to do it, which will be an absolute asset for Conte. He created chances, including the early opportunity for Sonny. Better performance from him. Then into the main part of midfield/attack. Lucas Moura could have been an 8. However, like Emerson Royale, his was knocked down because of that mistake that led to the goal. Look, I love the fact that he's He's been taking players on again this season. He's been much more creative. He's another one that flew out of the blocks in this game to prove a point. He's somebody that has the ability to be one of our best players, but he's a little bit inconsistent at times. He showed very good moments, but yeah, sloppy moment to lose the ball for the goal. He took his own goal very calmly. Lovely flick round the corner to Kane. Kane slotted a nice ball back through to him. As he's running through on goal, he's got the opportunity to slot it to Sonny, but he takes it on himself nice and calmly, nestles that into the bottom of the corner. Well deserved as well, in my opinion. As I said, he lost possession in a dangerous area, which led to Vitesse's second goal. Look, they just couldn't contain him. He added an element of exciting chaos when he came inside to be a number 10. Is he going to play every week? I don't think so. Not until he really sorts himself out as a consistent player. It's his passing and shooting that lets him down at times. His ability on the ball, there's no question about it. Right, on to Sonny. Could be an 8, could be a 7. I'm in between on him as well. Let me know below what you think Sonny was. He scored his first goal onto Conte, just as he did for Jose Mourinho, just as he did for Nuno. This guy loves scoring the first goals under new managers. He also struck the post. He had an effort cleared by the last defender in a menacing first half display. He looked a bit more lively, looked happier. I mean, they've all got a point to prove, so it's hard to judge on this performance alone. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Harry Kane, a 7. I'm not going to go as far to give him anything else. Lovely assist for Lucas. Less brilliant one for Rasmussen's own goal. But who cares as long as the ball's in the back of the net. But it was great to see him getting involved, getting on the shoulder of that last defender, in there trying to be hungry and collect balls. You want him in the box feeding off those loose balls. Still looked a bit clunky at times though, not going to lie. He needs to score. He really does. He almost had a goal. But he was putting more effort in. Obviously, as I say, new manager, they've got to make an impression. Now the substitutes, Tanguy and Ndombele, Davinson Sanchez and Harry Winks all came on 72 minutes, and they replaced Sonny, Lucas and Skip. So we were kind of become a bit withdrawn in the game. There was too much control for Vitesse, and I actually thought they pressed really well. They used their wide men very well to get themselves forward very quickly, and there were some instances where it was 3-on-3. They transitioned very quick, so credit to them. They're not as bad as you would think. So Ndombele, he put himself about. He was running about from the second he came on, created a great chance for Giovanni Lo Celso with some lovely play, which Lo Celso should have put away. He was alright. 7 for him. Davinson Sanchez, like some outlets have only given him a 6, but I actually think he deserves a 7 in the short time he was on. He immediately took a boot to the head, ended up cut. He was on the floor bleeding. Like, the guy put his head on the line, got the studs to the face, went off, bandaged up, back on. And for some people, they might be a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to go in for more headers. Didn't care. He was coming well out of the 18-yard box into the midfield to make headers, get the ball back. And I actually thought that he put in a decent display defensively in the short time that he was on the pitch for, and considering he was carrying that gash and bandage. Winksy, it's the best he's looked in a long time. He also comes away with a 7. Influential in the sending off for Schubert after releasing Romero with a fine pass. He looked more comfortable on the ball now than he did under Nuno. I mean, he really is on a last chance right now. It looked like under Mourinho he was done. Under Nuno, got chances, didn't quite take them. He has to now. If he wants to stay at this club, he is going to have to take these chances. Then the last man to make an appearance for Spurs, Giovanni Lo Celso, on the 87th minute, comes on for Hotspur. Should have scored, as I've said, with the ball that was put through to him, but missed with a golden chance. His effort tipped wide. Played all right, only a 6 for him, wasn't involved for enough minutes to really get anything more or really influence the game. Immediately took a free kick the second he came on. Helped us keep possession of the ball towards the end in a sensible style. Subs not used on the night: Galini, Austin, Doherty, Rodon, Dele Alli, Bergwijn, Tanganga and Dane Scarlett. So what's Conte said after, actually talking about that, Lucas Moura, after he'd been subbed off, was sitting in the stands looking quite miserable. And probably rightfully so, because he played really well. But was he substituted with the Everton game in mind at the weekend? Probably, because at times he was our best player on the pitch, other than the awful loss of possession that led to the goal. So what Conte said after the game, it was a crazy game. Usually I don't like these types of games. The crazy games mean anything can happen, but at the same time, I think we should win, and we won. For sure, we're winning at 3-0, and then they scored 2 goals that we can avoid. Then after our red card, we were in trouble, but I think to win, suffering is good for this team, for these players, and they needed to improve their confidence. I think they needed to work a lot, and we have to find the time to work. I don't know how they're going to find the time, by the way, because we've got internationals coming up again, games thick and fast. It's crazy. I feel sorry for any manager coming into a club at this time. But now it is the international break. Tonight they wanted to win, and for this reason we won. For sure we have to improve, and I think that this is a positive thing. In my opinion, there is a lot of space for improvement for this team. Defensively, I think he's hinting at there, in every single player. So yeah, it's not easy because in 2 days we prepare for this game against Everton. It's only 1 day because I think tomorrow it's impossible to work with the players that played tonight because they used a lot of energy. We need to have a bit of patience because we need to work on many aspects tactically and physically, and I ask for the players to understand what I want. But I am not afraid about the work because in my life I know only through work you can reach important targets. And I really enjoyed the way he spoke in all his interviews after the game. I mean, all the interviews basically said the same sort of thing. He's passionate. He wants people to work hard. I think he understood the situation tonight. He said, like, next to no time to work with them, threw a squad out with a new formation. They flew out the blocks, and we are traditionally very, very slow in the start of games. So he got a completely different reaction from the team. Obviously, the fans in the stadium, the effect of the new manager influenced that to a certain extent. But he's someone that will demand this all the time. So what we need is the game management to know that we can't take the foot off the gas. We need to make sure we're looking positionally as to where we should be. Shouldn't be taking risks, taking people on in our own half and leaving other people exposed. You need to look for those simple passes, and he likes to work in patterns of play. If anyone's watched any of the interviews he's had, like in the past, he loves patterns of play. That's something that will come with time. Little pockets, little channels, little passing around and move up the pitch in those blocks. That is something that he will work on. We will see more confidence from the players on the ball, better passing and better understanding of each other's positional sense. So that's it for the surmising of that game with player ratings as well. So next up we visit Goodison Park to take on Everton on Sunday in the Premier League. Kickoff is 2 p.m. and then we return to Europa League conference football on Thursday the 25th of November when we visit NS Moura. Kickoff for that is 5:45 p.m. Remember, if you're watching this from outside of the UK, to check your local times to make sure that you're not tuning in at that time there, because the game will not be on at the times I've stated. So yeah, hopefully we pick up a victory in the Premier League. Then we've got the international break, and then we have NS Moura away, but they are the easier of the opponents within the group, and I will expect Conte to go strong again. But yeah, it was an interesting start. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur, Antonio Conte. This is what you have to contend with. But look, the atmosphere on the night from the fans, very good. They had the back into the players. We controlled the game towards the end, something that we're not able to do most of the time or couldn't do under Nuno. So look, it's a starting block. Well done to the lads for the effort and drive. Conte's got his work cut out for him, but I do believe that he'll get there. Thanks for sticking around for that video, guys. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, pop your comments below and have a conversation with one another. I will be back with you tomorrow. Stay safe, and until then, guys, come on you Spurs.